Hello guys, happy new year. Thank you for clicking on my video. Today I thought it would be fun if we created an apartment for the first 4 Disney princesses that we made. If you need a reminder, was Snow White with the Hikecore aesthetic. The next princess that we did was Raya with the Aliencore aesthetic. The third princess that we did was Aurora with the Goblincore aesthetic, and the fourth that we did was Cinderella with Cyberpunk. Specifically, I am using the apartment on the expensive neighborhood in City Living. It's the 10 Alto apartments. So I have sort of rearranged the space, the layout here, but still haven't deleted all the furniture and stuff like that. But I have sort of changed the walls. I might change them even more. So we basically have a bedroom here. We have a bathroom here that's connected to this bedroom. We have a little toilet bathroom. We have a really huge entryway and living room. And then we have a really big kitchen, like the fucking biggest kitchen ever. We also have this dining room and a bar. We also have another bedroom, big bathroom here, the biggest bathroom, but it's also very narrow, so it's gonna be a little weird. And this is the last bedroom, the fourth bedroom, and there's also a connected space here, which I am thinking I'm going to do Snow White's bedroom here, and I'm probably gonna have an ensuite gym because she is the Hikecore aesthetic. So I think it's gonna really work if we add a gym connected to her bedroom. There's some of these that harmonize better than with others. So for example, the Aliencore aesthetic matches better with the Cyberpunk aesthetic. The Goblincore aesthetic could look a little better with the Hikecore aesthetic because they're both kind of about nature. This is more about being exercising in nature, and this is more being in tune with the whimsy of nature. I have to find a way to make all of these work in this apartment. You cannot have individual different windows for one floor, so I don't want to change the windows, which pose a difficulty on themselves because you can only make walls at the end of a window. You can't do it obviously in the middle, and these windows are very big. Originally this apartment had a bathroom here that was ensuite with both of these bedrooms. They had both a door there, and also the same thing was happening here, and I don't like that. I generally don't like the idea of sharing a bathroom with a door to another bedroom. I feel that's a bit strange because anytime the other person can just pop in, and I think that's really strange and not very convenient. Living room has a TV, which is more it's an electronic device, so it kind of makes sense for it to be from something that's more futuristic. Obviously their individual bedrooms will only have their aesthetic. I suppose I could make this bathroom a bit bigger, but I'm gonna have to extend it like this. I cannot change the door. I was thinking maybe we could do some sort of Disney thing. So if you go in the gallery and you click on rooms, there's so many things that you're gonna find. Look at this. Why do I feel that is kind of cyberpunk? I'm gonna keep it. Oh my god, look at that. I'm definitely keeping this. Oh, maybe we could have this outside their door. That is gonna be so good. The Dream Princess? Does that say the Dream Princess? Okay, well, I am keeping these. Oh my god, Raya has nothing. That's so sad. I feel Raya's dragon was more something like this. Maybe I'm gonna keep that. So we can put that there. We can have its thermostat underneath. I think what makes the most sense is probably making the entryway the same style that it's going to be the living room. So I think maybe I should start with the living room. You can size up TVs and have them functional. Hold on, wait, why didn't I know this? Oh my gosh, you can. Okay, I can't believe that you can actually size up TVs and have them being functional. That is really, really weird, because at that point you can just size up a normal TV instead of buying the biggest one. That is just doesn't sound right. We might do this big one for now. I like the way that this black looks. It looks a bit more polished. There's little tone changes. I really like this wall from what is it? Eco Lifestyle. So for the living room, I made the wall smaller because it felt really too large, and I started looking for furniture that could fit the cyberpunk aesthetic. I was keeping in mind that it has to have a lot of graffiti, and I was combining posters with it, LED lights. I was looking for things that look futuristic but also punk-ish. So I ended up going with a side table that has glass in it. I think that's from Eco Lifestyle. I changed up this couch and I changed it for something that's a bit lighter blue here. I did this thing with the curtains. I don't really do that, and I think it works really well for the space and the big windows, the tall windows. I spent a lot of time rearranging the posters and the graffiti. It's sad because the game just decides to erase them later, so I will be rearranging them at a later point. But I do use this big carpet because I thought that geometrical designs give me a futuristic vibe, kind of like side tables next to the TV, because I felt they made it a bit more put together. I end up changing the light in live mode. I change it to blue for the ceiling light, the other one just to cool white, using some pillows so that they can invite the other princesses and they can all sit together and watch movies in home cinema, those sort of vibe. I also added these skyscrapers because I felt it was cool, because it's Cinderella, and instead of a castle she would have these skyscrapers to fantasize about. Some headphones next to the gaming consoles, and I also painted the ceiling black. Well, kind of gave it the same I don't think it's the same tile, but they are black tile tiles. But I will be doing a tour at the end with all of the rooms in detail. Now you can see that I went on with creating the entryway. I'm not sure if that's how you call it. I don't know if it's called an accent table, but I changed it for this one. That's the same one that's beside the next to the TV, and I think that makes it really complete. Just put those shelves over it, and I also put these other shelves on the other side. I kept the coat rack, and I added some shoes and some umbrellas. I also added this big light because it is as you enter the house, and it's also lighting up the space like as part of the hallway. So I thought it was nice to have a big light there, a big ceiling light there, and it's also a bit asymmetrical, kind of weird looking with that alien-y and futuristic look. I use this carpet here that's blue. I end up not using it. I think it kind of looks ugly, but I go on to put some pillars. You can see here I make the living room even smaller. I don't know, I feel like it looks better when you have actually filled the space of the rooms. I don't like to have rooms that are really empty, and so that's why I don't like having really huge rooms, because you don't end up fully furnishing them. After moving things around a little bit to fill up the space better, now that I made it smaller, I go on to change the carpet. I'm also using these black pillars on the edges of the walls that I really like. So moving on to the kitchen, I was considering doing this the Aliencore aesthetic first, but with how the furniture looked in the Aliencore aesthetic for the kitchen, I really didn't like it. I thought it looked really ugly because again, it gave me a hospital vibe. I really didn't like the way that it looked. So I ended up going for the Goblincore aesthetic for this room, and I think I really like it. It's this foresty vibe, it's this whimsical vibe, and this really fits Aurora with how she grows up in the forest, and how, you know, she would be more in tune with the everyday things like cooking and things like that when she was with her fairy aunts, because, you know, later when she becomes a princess, she would never have time to do these things and go looking for berries like she does in the movie at some point. And to reference that, I also put berry juice in some baskets later. I love that the Goblincore aesthetic has this fairy theme. You can see here that I'm rearranging the posters again because for some reason they disappeared, but I really like that it has these fairy motifs, it has mushroom motifs, it has butterfly motifs, and those all work together to make it look a bit like it's a bit fairy-ish. So I don't really mind that the kitchen sort of gives that idea that it's a bit more like fairy and whimsical, because I was going for that. You can see I'm also putting some magazines in the living room that I thought about that later. And I think it looks really lived in and nice like that. So here, I do this thing around the kitchen to enclose it because it looks really different to the living room, obviously, as a style. And it will be looking really different to the Aliencore dining room that we're going to make. So I closed it like this. I put this beautiful glass that I really didn't expect to look this good. I really didn't. I was like, okay, this is probably going to not be good. So I'm probably going to change it to just a wallpaper. But I really liked the way that it looked. And I feel like Goblincore would only make sense around these more futuristic designs if it was truly treated as something that is different to them. So then I continue cluttering with appliances and kitchen clutter. I put a hot pot, I put a kettle, I put hot chocolate, and I put apart from obviously the dishwasher, I think I also put like in a microwave, I put this little mixing thing because I think, you know, she would like that. And I also put some accents of blue and pink because of Aurora's dress, and I think that's really cute. I really love the cluttering that I did in this kitchen. I think it looks really good and it really looks like it's being used. I also put some knives, the bin, and I also put some that fox wicker box. I'm not sure how you call that, but it felt to me like it matched with the space. So then I go on to put some wall decor, and I put this beautiful little calendar. I wish we had more calendars in The Sims. Why don't we have more calendars? They are so necessary. I also use this picture from Realm of Magic because it has these like herbs and the butterfly, and also use this Enchanted by Nature natural like herbal things on the wall. That's also really accurate. These are the baskets that I was talking about, and I also used like a fruit basket. I think it came with Everyday Clutter Kit. And yeah, so moving on to the dining room, I'm using this bar that I thought I knew that I was going to use it from the start because it's the epitome of Aliencore. I go on to choose like the sort of like curtains. I was combining these curtains because I really felt monotonous to just use the black, and I really like the shape of these chairs. And for some reason, I really associate the glass with futurism, and I'm not really sure why or if there's a true basis for that, but that's why I do this dining table. And I really like the shapes of these chairs, and I feel like they do give something alien about them. And also these candles that are weirdly asymmetrical. Anything that is weirdly shaped and geometrical, I think works for the Aliencore aesthetic, and anything that's really futuristic. And then I use these. I use this fireplace because I thought it was the most like futuristic fireplace that we have because I guess it has glass. I also gave the ceiling the same black, so both of the living room, the hallway, and the dining room have the same ceiling. I think that's good. It's cohesive. I use this bookshelf that's asymmetrical because of, you know, trying to find something futuristic and alien-y. And I changed the light again to green in live mode. I thought it was pretty smart because it gives the whole room a green glow, and that way it really works with tinting everything in this green that's a shade that really characterizes Aliencore. I'm using some wall art from the gallery. When I looked up alien art, I found these really cute paintings that are like, this one says "Get in, loser," and it's in a UFO, and I thought it really worked with the color of the chairs and the fireplace, so I put it over there with a little plant box under. And I'm also using another one on the other side of that one. Says "I need space," and it has an alien in a spaceship. I really wanted to put some more cohesion in it, so I end up using these living chairs next to the fireplace that have this, you know, alien-y shape. It's this green shade, and I think the best part of that is when I added this floor lamp that is really green. This is unlocked with something. I'm not really sure what it was. I think it was something with mixing when you're top of the skill. I'm not sure, but placing it there I think really makes the space more put together. It makes everything make sense in the dining room. After that, I go back to the layout and I should have changed the way this bedroom is shaped, because I was thinking that it looked much smaller than the other one, and the other one also had a bathroom, so it was really unfairly laid out. I also put the pillars back to the hallway and the end of the kitchen so that we can continue to the hallway. So as you can see here, I'm making the hallway. I am making use of the gallery art that I found and saved. Specifically, I am using the same style for Cinderella and Aurora, as you can see here, and then I'm using one of them for Snow White on her hallway. The one from Cinderella, I'm using it in her room, but you're going to see that later. And I'm also using this dragon for Raya. And as you can see here, I'm finding which doors I'm going to use. I'm putting some wall lights on the walls, some decor. This dragon actually for Raya's bedroom is in the game. It's not a gallery art, but it's from the Void Critters. I don't know if you know what I mean, but there's this sort of like, there's some like Pokemon style things, collectibles in the game, and this is one of the stickers for one of the little things. So after I'm done with the hallways, I go to make Snow White's bathroom, and again, Snow White has the Hikecore aesthetic, and that is not very specific to any like furniture so much as that it is more like about mountains and the nature and maybe a bit like athletic. Went off of that and added some wood textures, and also made use of Snow White's color palette. So both in the bathroom and in her bedroom, you're gonna see a lot of blue, a lot of red and yellow. Those are the primary colors, but they're also Snow White's colors. And there was also some white and black because of her hair and this white as snow skin. Here I am actually changing the way that it leads to the bathrooms, and because the bathroom was way too big, so I was like, okay, I am going to separate it into two, and I'm going to do it this way. So I ended up doing that, and I also added a lot of mountain imagery, anything that I could find with mountains, and you know, to make a reference to hiking. I utilized it both in her bathroom and in her bedroom. I also used a lot of stone and wood because of mountains being rocky. So I'm using this horse ranch bed. I did make use of horse ranch quite a bit, and also Snowy Scape, because those two have a lot of mountains in them and a lot of things that kind of make me think of that hiking thing. So as you can see here, I added like it's not a thermostat. What is it? Like a thermo. And also this athletic hat. As you can see, I did find a lot of Apple items, and I used them in the room because it's Snow White. Obviously, we're going to use those. For the ensuite gym that I was talking about, I added this rock climbing item because I think that's the one that I had in mind that it was going to work here for her. I also added obviously not a runway. What is it called? Oh my gosh. Treadmill. Again, I used this glass wallpaper because I thought it was really smart and nice and it looked really modern. And I also used mirrors on the other side of the wall. So for her desk, again, I'm making use of her color palette. For that little corner between the gym and the bedroom, I did some sort of like cozy little space where she can just relax, read a book, watch a movie, and also admire the view. And I think it's really cool how her view out of all of the rooms has the most mountains to see. Like, it's more limited to seeing the mountains in the world, in the city, which really works for her considering she's into hiking. Clutter going on around here, just in the same color palette as everything else, and I liked that that little hanger with clothes instead of a wardrobe. I don't know why. I thought it was really interesting how it had her colors, and I think I was just having an easier time picking that instead of another kind of closet. For her desk, Again, I'm moving things around a bit. I changed the desk chair. So yeah, I think this really works for Snow White. I added as much color as I could, and I tried to make use. I always do that. I always try to make use of every space, and because I don't like having too much empty space, but that's the best I could do. I'm moving on to creating the Aliencore bathroom, and as you can see, I was having trouble here because I was facing this challenge of Raya that her stylish Raya is really not, you know, what Aliencore is. So I was trying, you're gonna see it in the bedroom too, to combine the color palettes a bit and also the style a bit. I tried many different kinds of wallpapers and tiles and flooring. The easiest thing was just doing green. Raya also has some green in her original design. I really like these futuristic wall lights, so I'm putting them around the mirror and on top of the toilet. And yeah, you're gonna see it much better at the end when we tour the whole place when it comes to the bathroom. So now for her bedroom, I found these alien items and they were awesome. They were exactly what I wanted. And you can also see they're making use of many different kinds of things here. I think in the end, this bedroom I think looks really good. I was having trouble in the process, but I was like, I'm gonna trust the process. I'm gonna trust the process. It's gonna look good in the end. I used a lot of Stranger Veil for like the alien-y things, and as you can see, that chair is from the event with the future. I can't remember what it was called. That girl over there in the picture is exactly like Raya. Obviously, for rent, it was really important here because it has Thai items, and Raya's story has a lot of roots in South Asia. It's a Southeast Asia kind of story inspired by the cultures there. So I think I managed to blend things very well. I don't know, you can tell me what you think. I'm also using little things for adventure weights where you lift weights, and I thought that really matched. And I also gave her a punching bag, and I think that works because she's really athletic. She's the most athletic one in all of the princesses, in my opinion. And as you can see here, I'm utilizing the lighting again. I'm using a green shade for the bedside cabinets. And I think this little couch here, again, from the event for the future, is really tying everything together. I think it looks a bit wild. It's got a lot of things going on, and I think eventually, though, I think it really looks good. So we're moving on to Cinderella's. I wasn't really having that much of a trouble. I think it turned out pretty good, and it didn't really make things very difficult. I'm using the Strangerville wallpaper here. The only challenge here was kind of like trying to stick with cyberpunk instead of just going futuristic. And I think by adding a bit more colors and a bit more black makes it more cyberpunk. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with just purely futuristic being the main aesthetic in the room. And I think I got over that as soon as I changed the wallpaper to black. But as you can see, I'm adding a lot of shoes because it's Cinderella. Of course, I would add a lot of shoes. And the shoe racks, and also filling this little, what do you call that, like a cabinet with shoes and other types of clutter. And also, obviously, I gave her like a good desk with a good PC, and it was like an expensive PC, a lot of items about that. And also gave her a lot of cleaning supplies because it's Cinderella. I would like to think that, you know, that's something that she does enjoy, even though she was forced upon her. I think she would like to do that. I don't know for the apartment, for this living situation. So I gave her all of the cleaning supplies that I could give her that also looked a little futuristic and not just, you know, medieval or whatever. Because there are some items that are a bit like that, like they are for a barn or something. The LED lights, the wall lights, are such a big part of this bedroom. They are what make the cyberpunk aesthetic work and stick and kind of make it really sell it that it is cyberpunk, in my opinion. And also the lava lamps, the headphones. And I don't know, I feel like this really looks like a Cinderella room if she was cyberpunk, if it was a futuristic story, if she was a cyber whatever. You can imagine all of that going on. And so we move on to creating her bathroom, and I think that was pretty easy for me. Like, it was just some futuristic items, but also keeping it a bit cyberpunk with how it had some intense wall lights and also dark colors when it comes to the floor and the walls. And some of the towels. I don't know, I feel like it was probably one of the easiest rooms to make. And again, I'm using this trick with a curtain that we can roll it across the room. Honestly, changing the color of the light in live mode added so much to this build, to this apartment, because I feel like every single room has a different kind of light emitting from the light source, from the little thing, the lighting. They're really, really important. And then I'm moving on to creating the last bedroom, Aurora's bedroom, the Goblincore bedroom. This is actually my favorite one. I feel like this one is just so beautiful, and it really sells the dark whimsical aesthetic so well. I wasn't really sure in the bed at first, but I was like, it doesn't really matter, like this bed is really Aurora, so I'm just gonna keep it. And it also has this kind of purple shade, it has flowers. I'm gonna keep it. And I think what really makes this room look amazing is the cluttering. I feel like I really did well with cluttering here, because I utilized not only like nature, like landscapes and things like that, but also like butterflies, like dark dead flowers. I think it looks so good, and it really, I think I can totally see Aurora living here. You know what I mean? Like this being her bedroom. I utilized so much wood and like darker swatches for it. I did this beautiful, I love this corner here behind the divider with the mirror and the chair and like basically like her vanity. I love it. I think it looks so good. And I did this little trick where you can apply a computer on top of it and have it be functional. I really like it. And obviously I use the jewelry thing because it has a moth, like a butterfly thing, and that's such a thing that works in Goblincore, like being used, and even she wears a butterfly necklace many times. Also did this corner for her with the little living chairs, and I thought that this looked good because I do imagine like goblin and things like that, I would have a lot of rope to create decoration, or I don't know. I feel like maybe it is a bit more in my mind like druidic, but I think it works. And I'm also using these werewolf rugs that are a bit torn because of the whole goblin thing, and how, you know, obviously like goblins are not the well elegant and well put together kinds of fake creatures. They are more so like wild and mostly in stories malevolent. Like I would imagine like really greedy, like they want like treasure and things like that. So I added a lot of stuff in her room because of that, to not pay homage, but like to be accurate to that sort of fantasy depiction, I guess. And then making her bathroom, it's pretty much on the same wavelength. Like we are making these dark, woody vibes going on here. A lot of brown, some dark purple, and I think the best part about this is the fairy lights. I adore this fairy lights from Enchanted by Nature. I feel like they are one of the most amazing items in the game, and they add so much to the bedroom and to the bathroom. I also personally really like adding little bins in bathrooms. I think that's a really nice touch. I've started doing it lately. So that is it. Here we are on the final house tour where I show you all of the rooms. Tell me which room you thought was the most accurate to the aesthetic, or was your favorite, if those two are not the same room. And tell me if you would like to see, and tell me if you liked this format for the video. It was really hard for me to create them in real time and speak at the same time, because I like to, like, you know, have my own time when I'm making a room. So I'm gonna try a lot of different things, and for me this was the best way to do it. Personally, I think my room, like I said, was my favorite room is Aurora's, because I just love the way that it looks. But I do think, you know, I did my best with all the other rooms, and I also think that Cinderella's room is really, really cool. And I'm actually like really proud of myself for Raya's room, because I thought that was really, really challenging to do, to combine that Southeast Asian aesthetic with Aliencore. It's the most random thing ever. So thank you so much for watching. If you're still watching, please leave a like or subscribe to my channel if you want to see the next episode in this series, where, you know, we're gonna make apartments for the other princesses as well. And you know, if you guys like it, of course I will continue with all of the other princesses. I already have planned to do the next 4 princesses in the series that we make, that we do makeovers for the Disney princesses and random aesthetics. So again, thank you so much. You cannot understand how important you guys are to me. I'm so happy. I can't believe I already have like 360 subscribers. That is incredible. That is incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, really. And tell me anything you want in the comments if that's not one of the things that I suggested. But yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a good day or night wherever you are in the world, and goodbye.
Hasta la vista.